Welcome back to CreatingChristianStepTeams.com, where the stepping never stops. I'm your host, Daryl Woodard, and today we're going to address the question of whether or not Christians should pledge non-Christian fraternities or sororities. So I have with me today Rosetta Perry, and Rosetta, how you doing?
I'm great.
All right. Well, could you tell our audience what is your background in sororities?
Well, I went to college at Youngstown State University, and I pledged Zeta Phi Beta sorority.
Okay. All right.
Before I pledged Zeta Phi Beta, I was a Sigma Sweetheart first.
Oh, wow.
So I got to know the big brothers of Phi Beta Sigma.
Okay.
And because we had such a good relationship with those guys, when it came time to pledge a sorority, quite naturally, I continued in that same vein. I didn't have a particular sorority already in mind when I went to college.
Okay. If I can ask you this, were you already a Christian when you were?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I was a Christian, a carnal Christian.
Okay. All right.
I was a Christian.
But you was in the kingdom, though.
But I was in the kingdom.
Okay,
I was
all right.
very faithful at church and very involved. And I had never heard my pastor back then speak against pledging.
Okay.
And my mom was an Eastern Star,
Okay.
which to me is kind of like pledging,
Okay.
because they had secrets and things
Right,
like that,
right,
and
right.
initiations and things like that she had to go through, which we grew up learning that it was an honor and a privilege to be a part of that, the Eastern Star, because you couldn't be in it if anybody in your family wasn't.
Okay.
And
Okay.
her father was a Mason.
Okay.
So anyway, so I guess the seed of being in an organization and pledging probably was planted, but it was never coerced or anything like that. But I have always been a social butterfly.
Okay.
I've always been involved. When I was in high school, I was involved. I love being with people. I love doing things in a group. So being a part of something that looked like it was a lot of fun
Right.
was interesting to me. And plus we heard a lot of people talk about the benefits of being a part of a sorority or a fraternity. And the main benefits that they always talk about when you graduate and you put that on your resume, that'll help you get a job. Quite naturally, that was our goal, to be able to get a job when we graduated.
Right. Okay.
So anyway, I went on and I pledged. What was fortunate for me when I pledged, I already knew some of the girls because some of the girls were already Sigma Sweethearts. So I kind of knew them already.
Yeah, and that's interesting, because we were talking right before the taping. You were saying that that's a lot of the reasons why people tend to pledge is because they might go off to college, they don't know anybody. So they feel that this is a way that they can become involved with some people or persons who eventually it's like family.
Right.
You know, but the question that I think a lot of people are wondering about is, you know, being a Christian, can you participate or be a part of this, of something, and still maintain your Christian values?
Well, my life today as a Christian is totally different than my life as a Christian back then.
Okay.
I've grown, I'm spirit-filled, I'm 100% sold out to the Lord.
Wow.
I'm not living as they used to say back in the Baptist church, 1 foot in and 1 foot out.
Right.
I'm totally sold out. So if I was the way I am today, I probably would not pledge.
Wow.
Because my conviction is so strong now. But
Sure.
I didn't know, even though I was a Christian, I say carnal because I didn't know.
Sure.
I didn't know a lot
Sure.
about things that you shouldn't do as a Christian.
Right.
So, anyway.
Right. Well, that's powerful. That's powerful because, you know, the fact that you were already a Christian, but what you just spoke to is the fact that Do you feel that you would have to compromise some of that in order to be a part of a sorority?
Yes, definitely. Because some of the things that we did, which I would not do now because I'm older, I'm more mature, and I understand and I know better, goes totally against. Okay, I'll give you an example. As a Christian, we're supposed to submit our lives to Christ totally. We're supposed to be sold out to Him, be led by the Spirit, and the teaching that we're getting now is perfect, fits right in. You got to shut the soul man down and let the spirit man lead,
sure.
And your body should follow.
Sure.
Well, when you're humbling yourself, you should be humble and humbling yourself to the Lord. When I was pledging, we had to humble ourselves to our big sisters and big brothers.
Okay.
There's such a correlation between what we did then and how I live now.
Wow.
And I didn't see anything wrong with it
sure.
then, but I do see something wrong with it now, bowing down my head on one knee.
Wow.
And it is so ingrained in me. I could recite it just like that,
right,
you know.
Right.
But parts of pledging is against the law. Hazing,
sure.
harassing.
Right.
It's against the law. You're not supposed to do it. But most people know that it goes on.
Right.
And by me being in a sorority, we had ladies that pledged us, and they believed in finer womanhood because that's what Zeta Phi Beta stood for. They were good in that area. They never laid their hands on us. They never hit us or anything like that. But there was an element of humiliation. And there were times where you were humiliated and embarrassed,
wow.
And made to feel less than. And we were even called worms when we were pledging.
Right.
And
if I can just address that, because I think that I have a background as well in pledging, and that one of the things that they say is that helps build you up as you overcome the hazing process. Well, you're not allowed to say you were hazed, but that process of pledging, that it makes you a better person after you're able to overcome that. Well, how do you feel about that?
Well, I disagree. It doesn't make you a better person. There's other ways that you can make me a better person without hazing me, harassing, hitting or beating. I wasn't hit or beat, but I know the
sure.
guys are.
Sure.
But I think there are other ways that you could bring out the good qualities in a person without making them feel less than. And it's very dangerous for someone to be in that type of a setting when you don't know the characteristics of all of the people that who's allowed to oversee them, who's allowed to pledge them. Everybody's personality and character is not where it needs to be.
Sure.
And if you're not on a campus where you're protected and people are really looking out for your best interest, you might have a shy little flower, a little girl that's shy and just left home, never been away from home, wants to be a part of something. You might crush her spirit forever by beating her down verbally.
Sure.
And you're thinking it's all in fun and for a purpose, but that's why it's dangerous.
Wow.
That's why it's dangerous. Because you don't go through no psychological interview when you pledge, They really want you, you get the grade point average, come on.
Sure.
But it's dangerous when the people that are over you or in charge, you give somebody a little bit of power, and if the wrong motive, they can really hurt somebody.
Interesting.
Wow. So if there's a choice and you want to be in a group and you love pledging, you love stepping. I don't think nobody loves pledging.
Sure.
You love stepping and you love the fun. You like being recognized, wearing the same T-shirts and the colors, and you somebody when you pledge, because that's the image on campus when you're a part of an organization. And so if there's an alternative, if you're considering that, if there's an alternative to a Christian fraternity or sorority, I would definitely look for that.
Okay. Which actually leads me. The last question I was going to ask you was, what do you say to somebody, who's thinking about, should I do this? Should they're a Christian, but there's a non-Christian sorority that they're thinking about being a part of. What do you say to this young lady who she's wondering, whether or not, I should do this? Should I, be with my friends, or what do you say? Because we talked a little bit before we taped. There were some things that I felt that you said that were really good about, and I'll let you talk about it, but the research that goes into it.
If there's a group that you want to be a part of, really, you should ask a lot of questions. You should find out the people who already went through the process.
Okay.
You should talk to the adult advisors. You should find out the experiences that the people went through that said they were Christians.
Okay.
And actually ask them, did you ever feel compromised? Did you ever feel like you had to compromise when you went through the process, even though they said you wouldn't have to?
Mm-hmm.
Did you feel uncomfortable?
Right.
Are you going to stick to, because what's written in the history books about pledging is all good, as far as the foundation and trying to build a unity between the brothers and sisters on campuses, and trying to make ways so that people could have greater opportunities for positions and jobs, and because you know somebody.
Sure.
But if you start talking to people and finding out what they went through, and you need to really talk to the person that's going to interview you, and let them know that you're a Christian and these are your values, and there's certain things that you cannot compromise on, and would that fit in? Would I still be able to be a part?
Right.
Do you do activities that would cause me to misrepresent Christ?
Wow.
And then you need to talk to someone maybe that's not in the sorority, but someone that you look up to, someone that maybe at your church that could kind of talk you and guide you through.
Yeah.
Because no one should flat out tell you no, don't do it.
Right.
But they should be able to guide you so that
Right.
you can find the answer within you
Right. I agree.
as to what you should do.
I agree.
And through prayer.
Sure.
Because everybody that says they're Christian
Sure.
doesn't mean they're strong Christians, and they
What-
can't be misled.
Right. Well, what